I hadn't spoken to my brother Marcus in nearly 2 years. Not because of some big blowout, but because he made it incredibly easy to fall out of his life. When we were kids, he was the golden child, charming, athletic, the kind of guy who could forget your birthday and somehow still make you feel like the jerk. I was just the guy who stayed out of his way. But when his wedding invitation came in the mail, I took a breath. "It's a start," my girlfriend Tamara said, reading over my shoulder. "Maybe he's growing up." I wanted to believe that. I really did. Especially because after everything I'd been through the past year, a breakup that nearly broke me, a job I barely held on to, and a mental health spiral I climbed out of inch by inch, I wanted to believe that someone in my family actually wanted me there. The invite didn't say much. Just my name, the venue, the date, and RSVP by the end of the month. No mention of a +1. But hey, maybe that's just how they were doing it. Small wedding? Whatever. I RSVP'd, yes, and marked it on my calendar. No expectations. Just an open mind. A week later, my mom called. "Did you get the invite?" "Yeah." I said yes. "Oh, good. I was worried you wouldn't come. Marcus really wanted you there." She said it like it was the most natural thing in the world, as if she hadn't spent the last 3 Christmases pretending Marcus forgetting to call me was just him being busy. Still, I let myself get excited. I picked out a sharp charcoal suit, booked a hotel near the venue, bought a gift, a custom watch box with his initials etched in the glass, with a note tucked inside that said, "Hope this helps you keep time for the people who matter." That was the first of many mistakes. The wedding was at a boutique winery about 45 minutes outside the city. Gorgeous place. Vine-covered walls, fairy lights strung between old oak beams, and that expensive hush you only get when the flowers cost more than a used car. The ceremony was set for 5 p.m. I got there at 4:30, gift in hand. The welcome table had little name cards arranged in rows. I found mine, Tom W., without much trouble. But there was something odd. No table number. No seating group. The woman at the check-in smiled tightly when I asked, "Oh, you'll be sitting near the kitchen." "Near the kitchen?" I blinked. There must be some mistake. Everyone else has a table number. She glanced at the clipboard. "No, this is correct. You're an exception." I didn't understand what that meant until I walked into the reception area and saw it. There were tables set in a perfect horseshoe around the dance floor. Elegant round tables, each with name cards, champagne flutes, little thank you notes from the couple. And then, off to the side, near the swinging doors to the kitchen, a single folding chair. No table. No setting. Just a goddamn metal chair like I was a fire code afterthought. I stood there frozen. And then I saw her, Leah, my ex. The one who shattered me a year ago. She was laughing with 2 people I didn't recognize, wearing that same red dress she once told me I loved. She was at table 4. A full-place setting, champagne already bubbling in her glass. I walked over to one of the servers. "Hey, is that a mistake?" I gestured to the folding chair. "I'm not a caterer or something. I'm a guest." He gave me an apologetic smile. "You'd have to ask the bride." The bride. Sabrina. We'd met once before. She and Marcus had only been dating a year, and I didn't know much about her except she was always perfectly polite in that way that made it clear she didn't like you. I found her near the bar, talking to her bridesmaids. When she saw me, her smile twitched but didn't falter. "Oh, Tom. You made it." "Yeah. Hey, I think there's been a mix-up with my seat." "No mix-up," she said, sipping her wine. "You didn't get a +1, and we're only doing full table settings for +1s." I waited for her to laugh, to say she was kidding, but she didn't. She just blinked at me, like I was the one being difficult. "So you gave me a folding chair. By the kitchen. It's just for dinner. After that, everyone's on the dance floor anyway." I opened my mouth to say something, but nothing came out. And then she smiled, that kind of weaponized grin women like her perfect with years of practice. "I mean, it's not like you brought anyone, right?" My ears rang. It wasn't about the chair. It wasn't about dinner. It was about humiliation, about putting me in my place, about reminding me that in Marcus's new life, in their life, I was an afterthought. I looked around one last time. Everyone else had a seat. Everyone else had a place. Even Leah. I turned back to Sabrina. "You're right. I didn't bring a +1. Then I pulled the gift from the bag and set it on the table in front of her. "So I'll take this back. It was for family." I turned to leave. And that's when Marcus came running after me. I was halfway to the parking lot when I heard my name. "Tom. Tom, wait." I turned. It was Marcus, tuxedo coat in one hand, moving fast enough to kick up gravel. "You're seriously leaving?" he panted. "Yeah," I said. Didn't really feel like a folding chair next to the garbage was the warmest welcome. He ran a hand through his hair. "Come on, man. Don't make a scene. It's just seating. It's disrespect," I snapped. "You invited me, and then stuck me behind the goddamn kitchen door like a waiter." He grimaced. "It's Sabrina's seating chart. She said only +1s get table spots. But my ex is in there with a full table spot," I shot back. "You know, the one who cheated on me? Guess she made the cut." His face twisted for a second. I could see it. The guilt. The knowledge he screwed this up. And then he said it. "Bro, it's not about you. It's her day." I laughed. Out loud. "I brought you a gift. I took time off work. Drove 2 hours. Showed up solo, like you wanted, and got humiliated. If that's how you treat family, don't bother pretending I'm part of it." He opened his mouth, but I'd already turned around. "Tom, come on. Just sit through dinner. Please. Don't do this today. Too late." "You already did." I got in my car and drove off. By the time I hit the highway, my phone was blowing up. Missed calls from Marcus. 2 texts from my mom. 1 from Leah. Was that really necessary? Yeah, it was. That night, I didn't go home. I checked into a cheap hotel near the venue. I didn't want to bring that energy back into my apartment. Around midnight, my phone buzzed again. A message from Marcus. Didn't mean for it to go like that. "Can we talk?" I didn't answer. But I didn't block him either. The next morning, I finally opened Marcus's message. It wasn't an apology. Not really. Didn't mean for it to go like that. "Can we talk?" Translation. Let me smooth things over without admitting fault. Still pissed, I didn't respond. Around noon, another message came. "Sabrina says she's sorry if you felt disrespected. She didn't mean it that way." If I felt. Classic non-apology. I ignored it again. That evening, I got a call from my mom. I let it ring out. She left a voicemail, her voice pinched and sugar-coated. "Honey, Marcus feels terrible. He really wants to make it right. Maybe you could meet him for coffee." The same woman who hadn't called me on my last birthday was now playing peacekeeper. I didn't buy it. But curiosity got the better of me. I agreed to meet Marcus the next day. Neutral ground. A quiet cafe halfway between our places. He was already seated when I walked in. No tux this time. Just jeans, a hoodie, and a nervous twitch in his leg. "Tom," he said, standing up awkwardly. "Thanks for coming." I sat down, arms crossed. "Say what you need to say." He exhaled. "I screwed up. We both know that. I didn't realize how bad it looked until you left." I raised an eyebrow. "It looked exactly how you meant it to. Just admit it." He hesitated. "Sabrina said it was just about keeping things simple. No +1, no full seat. Leah got one. She RSVP'd with someone." I blinked. "Who?" He faltered. "Her new boyfriend. And you still thought putting me near the damn trash bins was okay?" He looked away. "I brought you a gift," I said. "I was trying to show up. For once." He nodded slowly. "I know. And I messed it up." There was a pause. "Look, Tom. Sabrina thinks we should move past this. You know, clean slate." I tilted my head. "So this is about what she thinks?" He flinched. Then added, "She said maybe you could still send the gift." I stared at him. "You want me to mail the present, after all that?" "I'm just saying, it meant a lot that you showed up. It would mean even more if we could just forget it." I stood up. "No," I said. "I don't forget people who humiliate me." I walked out before he could say another word. 3 days passed. I thought that was the end of it. Then came a knock at my door. I looked through the peephole, and there she was. Sabrina. Perfect curls, designer coat, and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I opened the door just enough to lean on it. "Can I help you?" She launched straight in. "Tom, I wanted to talk face to face. Things at the wedding didn't go how we hoped." I stared at her. "I understand if you were uncomfortable." "Uncomfortable," I said. "You gave me a folding chair like I was the janitor." She held up her hands. "It wasn't meant to be personal. It was a logistics thing. We only had limited seating, but not limited enough to exclude Leah's new boyfriend." Her smile tightened. "We didn't expect you to come alone. When you RSVP'd solo, it threw things off. That was it." I actually laughed. "So because I respected your invite and didn't bring someone uninvited, I got penalized?" "I didn't say that. You didn't have to." She shifted tactics. "Look, Marcus is upset. He feels like you're punishing him." I folded my arms. "Maybe because he deserves it." Then she said it. "He's your brother. Family forgives. We're starting a life together. We don't want drama. Now I saw it. This wasn't about fixing anything. It was about controlling the narrative. They wanted me to eat the disrespect quietly, so they didn't look bad to the rest of the family. I leaned in. You didn't want me at that wedding. You made that clear. And now you want my gift and my silence. She blinked. You don't have to be so dramatic. Oh, I'm just getting started, I said, and shut the door. That evening, I mailed the gift box to myself. Petty? Maybe, but satisfying. The next morning, Marcus texted again. Why are you being like this? I didn't reply. I was done playing the overlooked brother. Next move? Mine. I hadn't planned to go nuclear. I really hadn't. But then my cousin Alyssa sent me screenshots. Apparently, Sabrina had taken to Facebook. A cryptic post, nothing too obvious, just vague enough to spark drama. Some people only show up to tear things down. Not everyone deserves a seat at the table. Nail polish medium light skin tone #wedding records #family drama. The comments were worse. You're better than me, girl. I wouldn't have invited him at all. Loyalty starts with blood, not bitterness. Don't let bitter single men ruin your shine. Ring sparkles. My name wasn't tagged, but it didn't have to be. Every cousin, every aunt, every mutual friend knew exactly who she meant. That was the moment I snapped. I took out my phone and pulled up the wedding photos. The one Marcus's best friend had posted publicly. There I was in the background, next to the kitchen doors, in a folding chair, with an empty plate in my lap. The caption I added? When you RSVP to your own brother's wedding, show up solo like requested, bring a gift, and get rewarded with a chair next to the trash bins. #NotBitter just done. I didn't even tag them. I didn't need to. It blew up faster than I expected. DMs rolled in. Distant cousins. Old classmates. Even my boss sent me a message. Saw your post. Brutal. Hope you're okay, man. Within 24 hours, Sabrina's vague book post was deleted. But the damage was done. Marcus called me that night. Tom, what the hell? You made her cry. She made me sit next to the mop bucket. You're embarrassing the family. No, I'm exposing it. He hung up on me. 2 days later, I got a handwritten card in the mail. From Marcus. Inside was a note. You made your point, but you didn't have to ruin her first week as a wife. No apology. Just guilt-tripping. I tossed it in the trash, fitting, considering that's where they thought I belonged. But now? Now they could sit with that. You'd think after all that, they'd back off. You'd be wrong. The next blow came from the family group chat, the one I muted years ago but never left, just in case someone died or had a baby. Suddenly, it lit up like fireworks. Aunt Denise, Tom, did you really have to go public? That post was cruel. Uncle Mike, your brother's wedding was beautiful. You made it about you. Cousin Jen, it's not that serious. You're acting like they made you eat outside. I read it. All of it. And for once. I responded, you're right. It's not serious to you. Because it didn't happen to you. I was publicly humiliated, seated like a second-class guest, and then trashed on social media for having the nerve to walk out. You want peace? Then tell Marcus and Sabrina to apologize. Until then, stay out of it. Silence. Then, Mom, let's not escalate this. We're family. That word again. Family. They only pulled it out when they needed you to shut up and take the hit. Family doesn't mean you get to treat people like trash and call it tradition. I left the chat. The next day, I got a text from Alyssa again. You broke the internet. LMAO. Sabrina made her Instagram private. Marcus deleted his LinkedIn photo. I almost felt bad. Almost. But then I remembered that folding chair. The looks. The whispers. Leah raising her glass while I sat by the swinging kitchen door. They lit the fire. I just held up a mirror. Then came the real twist. A cousin I hadn't talked to in 5 years messaged me. This isn't the first time they've pulled crap like this. I asked her what she meant. Her answer? Let's just say, the rabbit hole was about to get a lot deeper. So I called her Vanessa, my cousin from my dad's side. We hadn't talked since Grandma's funeral. She didn't waste time. They pulled the same thing at my wedding. What? Marcus brought a random girl as his +1, got drunk, and made a toast about how marriages don't last unless the woman knows her place. You're kidding. Sabrina laughed. Loudest one in the room. That was 2 years ago. Vanessa and her husband left early and never got an apology. The family chalked it up to Marcus being Marcus. Then she said something else. You ever wonder why Sabrina and Leah are still close? That hit me like a slap. Wait. What? Yeah, they still hang out. I saw them at a bridal expo months ago. Pretty cozy for someone who cheated on you. The pit in my stomach dropped. I did some digging. Turns out Leah didn't just end things with me out of nowhere. She ghosted after a mysterious dinner at Marcus's place. I never knew who was there that night, just that she came back weird and distant. Now it made sense. She didn't just cheat. She was vetted. Sabrina had picked her side before the wedding even happened. This wasn't random. This was coordinated. I was furious. Not just for the wedding, but for everything. The lies. The years of being treated like the family backup plan. They wanted me quiet, humble, disposable. But they forgot something. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'd survived heartbreak, burnout, depression, and came out standing. And now? I was done surviving. It was time to rebuild. Without them. That night, I blocked Marcus. Then Sabrina. Then my mother. Then every cousin, aunt, or uncle who had something to say but nothing to offer. Clean slate. A week later, just as life started feeling quiet, I got an email. Subject, let's talk, dinner? It was from Marcus. Apparently, he and Sabrina wanted to meet up. At a restaurant. Neutral ground. To clear the air. I almost deleted it. But curiosity got me. We met at a mid-tier Italian place. Candlelight. Soft music. Like they were trying to set the mood for a Hallmark redemption arc. Sabrina looked exhausted. Or maybe just annoyed the internet hadn't sided with her. Marcus stood when I arrived. Tom, he said, nodding like this was a job interview. I sat down. No handshake. No smile. We ordered. Small talk was attempted. I shut it down. Say what you need to say. Marcus sighed. Look. I get it. The wedding thing? That was messed up. I raised an eyebrow. Was it? Sabrina jumped in. It wasn't meant to hurt you. It was just, we had limited seats and... No, I cut her off. You had a point to make. You made it. Loud and clear. Marcus shifted. We just want to move forward. Then apologize. Not just for the seat. For the posts. The group chat shade. Let's be honest, Sabrina, that was about me. She stiffened. You embarrassed us. You embarrassed yourselves. I just held up the mirror. They went quiet. Then Marcus reached into his jacket and slid something across the table. A wedding favor box. Inside? A piece of cake. A flash drive. And a printed photo of me sitting alone near the kitchen. Thought you might want a memento. I stared at it. Then at him. You're not sorry, I said flatly. You're trying to rewrite it. Sabrina spoke up, her voice icy. You didn't have to make it public. And you didn't have to humiliate me. But here we are. I stood up. Thanks for the cake, I said, picking up the box. I'll be sure to eat it when I throw away the last 10 years of trying to be your brother. I walked out. Didn't even finish my drink. Next day, I posted a photo of the cake box. Caption. It's not the apology I asked for, but at least they finally gave me something sweet. Mic dropped. 3 days after the apology dinner, I got a message from a random account. No name. Just a file attachment. Curiosity one. I opened it. It was the wedding video, but not the edited, highlight reel kind. This was raw footage. Full ceremony. Speeches. Candid crowd shots. And guess what? There I was. The only person not at a table. Folded into the corner, eating off my lap, with servers brushing past me like I was invisible. Worse? In the background of Marcus's toast, where he talked about unity and family, you can actually hear Sabrina snicker and say, "He looks like the help." The camera caught it. Clear as day. I watched it twice. Not because I needed proof, but because something in me snapped into place. This wasn't just inconsiderate. It was intentional. The humiliation. The seating. The silence after. All of it had been orchestrated. And now? I had receipts. I didn't post the clip. Not yet. But I sent it to Marcus. No message. Just the timestamp. He left me on scene. Then, 12 hours later, I got a final text. Guess there's no coming back from this. I didn't reply. Because he was right. That same night, I got a DM from one of Sabrina's bridesmaids. A girl named Nia, who I'd barely spoken to at the wedding. She wrote, I just want you to know, not everyone there was okay with what happened. Some of us thought it was gross. But Sabrina, she said you needed to be humbled. I'm sorry I didn't say anything then. That word again. Humbled. Like being single, quiet, and minding my business somehow made me a threat. Nah. They just didn't like that I didn't worship the pedestal they built themselves on. I poured a drink. Sat on my balcony. Watched the city lights. And finally, I felt peace. Not the tidy kind from forgiveness. The cold, honest kind from clarity. I never responded to Marcus's last message, but I did send one final package. Inside it, a printed frame from the wedding video, the moment Sabrina called me the help. A copy of the seating chart with my name off to the side. And the original gift I had brought, the monogrammed watch box. Except this time, I added something new inside it. A handwritten note that said, "Time reveals everything. You just didn't know I was watching." Then I shipped it to their address, marked no return. A few weeks passed. No response. Then one night, I got a text from Nia, the bridesmaid. She sent a picture. It was the watch box, shattered, smashed on the sidewalk in front of Marcus's apartment. The initials cracked. The note torn and tossed like confetti. "Guess she didn't like your gift," Nia wrote. I replied once. She wasn't supposed to. And that was that. I moved on. Blocked the last few stragglers who tried to guilt me. Let the silence grow between me and that side of the family. A silence I now understood was freedom. People like Marcus and Sabrina survive off reputation. Appearances. Polished photos and polite smiles. But me? I don't need a spotlight. Just a boundary. A firm, quiet, unshakable no. I kept the chair, by the way. The folding one. Took it when I left the wedding. Now it sits in my hallway, right under a little wooden sign that reads, "Reserved for the ones who forget who you are, until you remind them." And every time I pass it, I smile. Because in the end, they gave me a seat. But I gave them a legacy.